This week on Moms Like Us, Whitney Port opens up about trying for another baby after having 2 miscarriages.
Hoping that it can happen naturally, but we'll see how it goes.
Dr. Terry Dubrow tells us whether or not he lets his teenagers get plastic surgery.
Because we're plastic surgeons, because of social media, my daughters are asking for procedures now.
And we have all the latest on the Travis Barker, Shanna Moakler, and Kourtney Kardashian drama. We've got that plus so much more on today's Moms Like Us. Hey everyone, Christina Garibaldi here with Brianne Mans from Stroller in the City, and welcome to Moms Like Us. Brianne, how are you?
I'm doing great, Christina. How are you doing?
Good. I love your summer vibe.
Thank you. Thank you. And how are you feeling? You're almost there?
I'm almost there. I am almost 37 weeks, so baby could come, who knows, any moment.
Any day.
I'm ready. I'm ready. But I'm excited, starting to get things settled a little bit. I think we finally picked out a name, so I don't know.
Major news.
Major news. Breaking news. But hopefully, who knows, I could change my mind tomorrow, which I probably will. Well, let's get right into our mom and dad news of the week. And first up, we chatted with the Hill star Whitney Port about how she and her husband Timmy are trying for baby number 2 after suffering 2 miscarriages. Take a listen. I know that you've been open about your struggle about having a second child, and and you did say, I think back in January, that maybe adoption would be something that you guys would consider. Have you thought about that anymore? And are you in that process?
Yeah, so we're not in that process yet. I had 2 miscarriages within a year or like a year and a half. And so we're trying, but we don't have any kind of like plan more than that right now. Yeah. Hoping that it can happen naturally, but we'll see how it goes. And I'm trying to do this new thing where I don't give answers about something that I don't know the answer to yet,
Totally. I totally agree.
Because then I'm like, I find myself backtracking and then feeling bad about myself, like unsure about myself that I don't know the answer. So I'm just like, yes, adoption. I'm 100% open to it, but I'm not at that point yet.
Yeah. I mean, what advice do you have for other women that are kind of going through the same thing, struggling with miscarriage and things like that?
So hard because it's such an individual journey. But I think the biggest thing that I would say is that to really try to take as much of the pressure off themselves as possible. Like there's only really so much we can do in order to create like a healthy home for a new baby. And, obviously we can eat healthy and take care of our bodies and keep stress low and all of those things. But I don't know, for me, I've learned that with the miscarriage, like there was nothing else that I could have done. And that goes with most infertility issues. And so I think that we need to take the pressure off of ourselves and like stop blaming ourselves for any of that stuff, because that really just doesn't get you anywhere.
No, it's so true. As somebody that struggled with infertility as well, it's, you constantly be like, what could I do differently? But it's not you. It's just, unfortunately it just happens. It's terrible. Right.
I know. Like when I started to miscarry, I started to think about all the different things I could have done or not do. And then I was like, going down this road is not going to help me. Like who knows if that's the case? Likely not. Our body does so much without us knowing. And I think we just need to remember that.
I think it's so important. I mean, we talk about infertility a lot on here, but that, she's talking about how she kind of blamed herself a lot for this, and you really can't, because then there shouldn't be a stigma about talking about this either.
Absolutely not. Although I think as women, we just do, and we put so much on ourselves. I know that I kind of think I blamed myself for my secondary infertility because I felt pain after giving birth the first time. And what happened to me was I had an infection in my fallopian tube that I guess I never addressed because moms and were like, oh, this is I was also a first time mom. Like I thought that was supposed to happen. Some discomfort. So yeah, I totally blame myself. And I feel like a lot of moms do.
Oh, definitely. If you're like, oh, if I shouldn't have eaten that, or it shouldn't have worked out, or shouldn't have done this, like it's all these little things, but really in the grand scheme of it, it's just, sometimes it's just not meant to be, as terrible as that is. But, you shouldn't blame yourself. And it's good that she's talking about it. And she also said, that they are open to adoption maybe one day down the road, but they are trying. I mean, did you ever think about adopting at all?
I mean, I thought about it after like a good year of not getting pregnant. I was like, okay, like I really do want a sibling for my firstborn. And, I would consider it. Absolutely. Did you ever think about that?
I mean, I think if obviously we had to go through infertility process as well. And, if that didn't work, definitely, I would definitely consider it. It's a wonderful, beautiful thing as well.
Absolutely. I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
So in happy baby news this week, Christine Quinn has welcomed her baby boy. Her rep told us Christian George Dumontet was born a healthy baby boy on Saturday, May 15th at 4:22 p.m. in Los Angeles, less than 2 days after she appeared at the MTV Movie and TV Awards unscripted taping. We're so happy for the new mom, and I cannot believe she was at a TV show appearance that soon. I mean, it's nuts.
It's crazy. What do you think about this? Her name's Christine. Her husband's name is Christian, and now their baby is named Christian. That's a lot of
Christian. A lot of going on. They're gonna have to do some like nicknames, like
totally.
But it's like my a friend that I went to high school with. She named her kid. Her husband's name is Joe and Joseph, I guess. And so the daughter's Josephine. Then the son is Joseph, and then there's like 2 other J's, and there's just 2 more kids, and like they're all J's, and I'm like, how do you guys not get confused?
That is so funny.
Cute and whatever, like, but it's just like, how do you not get confused? Like, I get confused with my kids' names, and they're totally different.
I love that so much. But yeah, that's got to be confusing, but it's nice that they're keeping it in the family. I like it.
Love it.
I love it. All right. Well, we got to get into this Shanna Moakler, Travis Barker, Kourtney Kardashian drama, because it is intense and there's a lot to break down. So Shanna has been in the news this week because of her ex-husband, Travis Barker's very public romance with Kourtney. She opened up to Us Weekly about how their hot and heavy relationship has affected their children. They, of course, share son Landon, who is 17, and daughter Alabama, who is 15. She told us, the Kardashians are buying my kids Prada every other day. They're going on lavish trips. They're doing all these things, which is fine. I think it's nice that they're being kind to my kids. I want that for my children. Now, she appreciates the gestures, but she isn't thrilled with the effect that it's having, that the romance is having on her own relationship with the kids. She added, I don't think it's great when they put a wedge in between their biological mother. Now, their daughter, Alabama, then took to social media earlier this week, claiming that their mother is completely uninvolved as a mother, saying, my mom has never completely been in my life. Can you guys stop painting her out to be an amazing mom? Did your moms ask to see you on Mother's Day? Because mine didn't. I'm done keeping it secret. Reality shows. Oof.
This is like, oh my God, there's so many different parts of this, right?
So many layers. Let's start with how she feels about the Kardashians, buying her kids lavish gifts and things like that, and kind of causing a wedge in between her and her kids. I mean, how do you feel about that?
It's a lot. Like, I mean, I guess that's what they're used to and that's what they're accustomed to. So I don't think that I think they're just trying to include the children. Like, well, if my kids have this, then yours should too. So I think that is a nice gesture. But for people like you and I, like, we're not buying people Prada, we're not buying other children's kids, nor ourselves or our kids Prada. So that's like it's probably a little bit much. It's probably a little bit overwhelming, but I'm sure the kids are welcoming it because at ages 17 and 15, they're well aware of name brands and they're like, hey, this is amazing.
No, I totally agree with you. Like, going to Prada for them is like going to Target for me. Like, like they can afford it. And yes, but I feel like that's probably a lot of pressure on Shanna being like, I can't keep up with this. And I could see how happy it makes her, which she's probably happy about that for her kids, but it's also got to be a little defeating at times, I would imagine. And, it's probably hard for her to see her kids in pictures on these lavish vacations with her. Right. But, on the other hand, her kids are getting a lot of love. I don't know.
Right. It's kind of hard. It's kind of hard because she can't give them those experiences, but they are experiencing them without her. So that kind of stings too, and she's I'm sure she's feeling like left out as well,
And it's also hard now because then her 15-year-old daughter is now taking to social media and kind of airing these family grievances, which, you know, you don't want to see on social media.
Oh, I feel so bad that the daughter's saying that. And you don't know if like the daughter's just like a teenager and she's like, has all these like underlying things towards her mom. Is it true? Is it not true? But that is more heartbreaking than anything else, you know, that she said that.
I know. I hope that they all get it back on track and they can figure out a way to co-parent. You know, they've been divorced for a really long time. They've been divorced, I think, for like well over 10 years, but this is probably, you know, the first big, I mean, he hasn't been dating a Kardashian before this. So it takes it to a whole other level. And
oh my God, it's an experience.
It really is. It's, I'm sure it's difficult. I'm sure it really is, but let's predict. Do you think Kourtney and Travis are going to last?
I don't know. I mean, if you ask me today, yeah, I'm going to say, I think so. It looks hot and heavy to me.
It really does. I mean, they've been friends for a really long time. They're neighbors. Obviously their kids are all friends. So who knows?
Yeah.
This could be it for her.
I mean, good for them. As long as they're happy, the kids are happy. And, you know, that's all we can really ask for, right?
Totally.
Yeah.
Oof. Well, we got more Kardashian news, right?
Yes, we do. Oh my God. Speaking of the Kardashians, Kylie Jenner and Travis Scott took their daughter Stormi to Disneyland on Tuesday. She posted an Instagram story of herself pushing the stroller through the park while her 3-year-old daughter walked hand in hand with her friends with the caption, "Hands full today." So cute. She also posted photos of the toddler riding a carousel, sitting between her mom and dad and hugging her cousin Dream. Scott also shared pictures holding hands with Stormi in line. Now, it's so cute, but if you saw them walking in Disneyland, I mean, do you think people were like coming up to them? Like, did they?
I would imagine that people were probably coming up to them or being like, "Oh my God, I can't believe Kylie's like just like us pushing this stroller around Disneyland."
I know. I feel like she would have like a bigger line than like Mickey Mouse and Minnie, like lined up to take like photos, right? I mean,
totally. I mean, she does have enough money to shut down the park, I would imagine. So if she really wanted to, she could. But I guess she just wanted to have a normal day out with her family. It's nice that you know, they're co-parenting so well together. You know, there's rumors that they could be back together. Who knows? But it's nice that they're, you know, having a nice family day out together.
Absolutely. And doing something normal and not going to Prada and buy a ton of bags.
Totally. I'm sure they hit up the Disney store though. And
I'm sure they did.
Totally. All right. Well, recently we sat down with Dr. Terry Dubrow and Dr. Paul Nassif from Botched this week, and Terry opened up about his 17-year-old daughter wanting some work done. Take a listen. What advice are you giving Paul about those teenage years, and what's been the most difficult thing that you've had to deal with?
Run, hide. So in the teenage years, it's what I tell Paul, it's them, not you. Trust me. Something happens around 14. I don't really get it, but it seems to come out of it around 17. And I just tell them, yes, go talk to mom. That's number one. Number two is because we're plastic surgeons, because of social media, my daughters are asking for procedures now.
Really?
Before 18, which is not something I've been a fan of, but they're sort of manipulating me into allowing certain things. I still don't allow other things. And it's an interesting time to be raising young girls.
Negotiations.
Yeah. And what are they asking to get done?
So my 17-year-old wants lip filler. And I had previously been completely against anything like that under the age of 21 or 18 for sure. But she said to me, well, I'm going to get my nose pierced if you're not going to let me do that. I said, ugh. I said, I'll make you a deal. If you don't get your nose pierced, I'll let you have a little bit of conservative, what I call judicious lip filler. She goes, okay. So she gets it. She goes, by the way, I was never going to get my nose pierced.
She got you. I love it. That's amazing. Paul, do you, now that you're in that newborn stage, do you and Brittany want more kids?
I'm going to probably say no. I think she's happy with having one baby. She is an incredible mom, very nurturing to both of us and of my other children. So I have to tell you, that's the point now. However, will things change? You never know.
You never know. Are your boys being protective older brothers?
So especially, you know, the 17-year-old going to be 18, of course, is just thinking about getting out of the house now and having fun because, things are opening back up. But my twins, they just are with the baby Paulina all the time, constantly. And so I can tell my twins will be very protective of her.
Yeah.
They love her.
Terry, how do you deal with your girls dating? Is that tough for you?
Hasn't happened yet.
It's interesting because my girls have all basically come out. And so it's like they have girlfriends come over, and this is like sort of weird to admit, but when they have girlfriends come over, it's like, well, they're just girlfriends, even though they're dating them. So it's not like there are many guys coming over these days. So I guess I'm okay with it.
Yeah. How proud of you were you of your daughter when she came out last year?
Super proud that she felt comfortable. Super proud that she wanted to share her feelings about it. She's got a big podcast called I'll Give It to You Straightish. It's all about anxieties of being a teenager in the world in which we live now and of coming out. So she's got a really important message, and I like the way she's delivering. I think it's helping a lot of people.
I mean, this is like, I guess, a great debate. I mean, would you ever let your daughters, when they turn 17 or in their teens, get plastic surgery?
I can't even think about this.
I know.
No, I can't. I don't think so. Although I will tell you, in high school, I graduated high school and I got a tattoo, and my mom knew about it. And she was like, okay, like you're 18 and you can get this done. But now that I think about it, no, I would never let my kids do this.
No, definitely.
Not even a tattoo. I can't even imagine plastic surgery.
I know. I mean, I can understand maybe like a rhinoplasty, like if something happened, like if you got hit in the face or something, like that's okay. But like lip fillers, Botox, anything like that before, you know, in your teens, absolutely not.
No, definitely not. There's no reason to get Botox that young at all. I mean, it's just going to make you look worse down the road.
Oh yeah.
Oh my goodness. I can't even. No, the fact that like even considering that is like an issue. I just can't, but it's all over the world. It's crazy.
It really is. I would love to know what everybody else thinks that's watching, if you would ever let your kids get plastic surgery. So please let us know in the comments, because I'd love to know what everybody thinks about this.
We need to take a poll. We need to take a poll.
Totally.
It's crazy.
It really is.
Our mom's getting real moment this week goes to Bachelor Nation's Becca Martinez. She shared very real videos at her very crowded airport with 2 children and having to breastfeed them nonstop. So one video showed her breastfeeding while in the security line, and she wrote, "Still here," and the doors close in 30 minutes. She continued to nurse her son and daughter on the plane ride, writing, "That whole flight was boob, boob, boob nonstop. I am touched out and currently over breastfeeding," laughing my ass off. I mean, traveling while breastfeeding, it's a thing. I mean, I'm trying to even think that I can share like a tip with you that it's like easy, but you know, it's hard. It's hard.
I would imagine. We were supposed to, like before COVID and everything, right before COVID happened, I was going to take the baby on the plane, and that would have been the first time. But I mean, I never got the chance to travel while breastfeeding, but I've heard it's very difficult, and I can't imagine doing 2 at once.
I know the 2 thing is so hard. I can't even imagine that. But I will say, like, when you do like the takeoff and the landing, that's always a great time to nurse, because it's, you know, flushing their ears out so their ears are not going to pop. So that was like always great for me. But now I feel like, and I don't know how it is now with COVID, because I haven't gotten on a plane since, but they used to have like the nursing rooms and, you know, some of the terminals. So that was like fairly easy. But I mean, honestly, like a swaddle just like over you, I feel like most people are respectful of your privacy, and like they're not going to plop next to you while you're sitting in, you know, an airport. You know,
right. It's so stressful, even like, you know, pumping and like going and, you know, figuring out when to pump on the plane and not to, like, it's, there's a lot of different layers to traveling with children.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Definitely difficult. All right. Well, our clapback of the week goes to Shay Mitchell. The actress was criticized for saying she didn't feel like herself after giving birth, and said, people were like, well, you just had a baby. Yeah, I know I just had a baby. I'm very grateful for my body and that it gave life, but I'm still allowed to express that I don't feel like myself. I mean, that is totally normal.
Absolutely. Like postpartum hormones, that's that is. Like a lot of people don't feel like themselves. And it's not just like, oh yeah, I had a baby, I don't feel like myself. No, it's like it takes a toll on like you, not only physically, but mentally too.
100%.
So,
I mean, we've talked about this. I mean, I don't think I really felt like myself probably until like a year later.
Yep. Same for me. And I'm glad that she clapped back and like said that, because we're not going to just bounce back. Like, our husbands do. And like that, I think is like another thing too, where like a lot of men don't even understand, because they're just like, yeah, great. I had a couple of days off of work. I have this new baby, but like their mental state is fine. Their bodies are fine. Like they didn't go through all of that.
Yeah. It's a lot. It really is. Your body goes through almost like a trauma, and when you deliver, and it's a lot to deal with. And especially like the lack of sleep, everything messes with you.
Everything. Oh my gosh, everything. That's crazy. So this week's baby name diaries, we spoke to Sean and Catherine Lowe, who told us the meaning behind their 3 kids' names. Take a listen to this.
When we got engaged, we talked about, we started a list of names. And the first one that we knew was a solid choice was Samuel Thomas. And Samuel is an old family name. It's a man in the Bible. And Thomas is his middle name. So that's where Samuel Thomas came from. Mm-hmm. And then Isaiah, he had to convince me.
I kind of had to sell her on the name Isaiah. I've always liked it. And again, it's another biblical name, but I just think it kind of sounds cool, has a cool ring to it.
And now we love it. He can be anything else. And then Hendricks is a family name of mine.
Yeah, Isaiah. And then Mia, we bounced around a lot of different names, but there's something really cute about Mia, a little 3-letter word. Mm-hmm.
But he sold me when he said Mia Mejia, which my middle name is Mejia. And so when he put those 2 together, because I wanted a name that ended in an A that wasn't like sexy. And like, a lot of names that end with an A are kind of sexy. Mm-hmm. And he's like, I don't want sexy. Like Valentina or Victoria. There's this kind of sassiness about it. And Mia is just a cute one with the letter A at the end. Yeah. So when he said Mia Mejia, it was over.
Very cute.
I love this segment so much because I know that you're trying to still figure out a name, as is my assistant. And I think that this is like hilarious that I talk to both of you weekly and like, hey, did you get closer? And both of you are like, nope. And I bet you at the end of the day, I feel like the 2 of you are going to wind up with like the same baby name.
Maybe.
It's so funny. Yeah. So I think it's so funny that he thinks that girls' names that end in A are sexy. I mean, that's
so funny. I think it's hysterical. Well, I guess that my Christina is sexy, apparently. I've never thought about
I mean, my 2 daughters, I guess. Yeah. My 2 daughters ended in A, so I guess that's sexy too. I mean, that's so funny.
That's hysterical. But they're great, and they have 3 beautiful babies, so I love it.
So cute.
All right. Well, our celeb moms, they're just like us. This week goes to Hilaria Baldwin, who had a rough night recently with her son, Eduardo. She faced every mom's nightmare when she had to take her 8-month-old son to the emergency room after an allergic reaction. She wrote, "We had a scary experience where Edu had an allergic reaction. I don't know to what yet, but it was one of those horrible moments that every parent dreads. My kids don't have allergies, so this was a first. Doesn't matter how many kids you have, there are always moments that shake us, and there is no way we can prepare. This was after he was better. The vomit on my clothes had dried, and my friend sent a pic to Alec, who is away working, to let him know it was going to be okay." That is so scary.
So scary. Does your daughter have allergies at all?
Doesn't, as of right now. No. So how about you?
No, thank God. I never had to experience it, but I have had friends who had to experience it. One was like almost life-threatening with her daughter. They spent like, I think a good like 2 weeks in the hospital afterwards. Yes, she was like allergic to nuts or something. And someone gave her a cookie, and she knew, like, I guess because it was raw and it wasn't cooked, the nut, it had even more of a reaction to her. And like, I mean, she had to get revived. It was like 3 EpiPens. Like, it was really, really scary. And her daughter was like, probably like, I want to say maybe 2 and a half at the time. It was so scary. So that I'm like, she's a really good friend of mine, like shook her so much that she's like a nervous wreck now. And her daughter's now like 5, and she's still like a nervous wreck about everything.
I would be too. Oh my God, that is so scary.
Yeah. And especially when they go into schools now too, like that's like a whole thing. And like, yeah, you can put them at the lunch table or whatever, even though now there's not even a lunch table, they eat in the classroom. But like, as a parent who doesn't have a child with allergies, I like never send my kids to school with like peanut butter and jelly. Right. like want to be respectful of like the other kids that do have an allergy, you know?
Sure. Yeah. I think in some schools they tell you that like you can't bring nuts or anything like that in. So, you know, it's good that they're taking precautions, but that, oh my God, that is frightening. My husband's sister, I mean, she's obviously much older, but she's allergic to all poultry. So she can't eat, like, yeah, it's so, she's had the same thing. Like, if anything with any duck sauce, chicken stock, anything like that, she was at a restaurant, they had to use the EpiPen and things like that, but it's scary. It really is.
That is scary. And poultry, I mean, that's like a random, I've never heard of
random. That. Yeah, it's so random, but like anything, she's just like deathly allergic. It's awful. Well, hopefully most moms don't have to deal with that because that is a scary situation.
Yes, and hopefully Hilaria figures out like what
it was. Totally. Thinking about them. All right. Well, Brianne, thank you so much for running down all things mom with me as always.
Thank you so much, Christina. Enjoy the week.
You too. Enjoy this beautiful weather here on the East Coast, wherever you are. Enjoy. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. We'll see you guys next week, and make sure to check back on Moms Like Us every Thursday at 3 p.m. on Us Weekly's YouTube channel. Keep commenting, keep subscribing. We'll see you guys next week.
Bye, guys.